This account was created to provide information on how current immigration laws apply to certain factual scenarios. There are many, I suspect, who are worried about their immigration situation, but they're not sure if they should speak to an immigration attorney. Keep in mind, and I cannot stress this enough, that immigration law is unbelievably fact-specific. So even if you think that your situation is nearly identical to one of the ones that I go over here, you still need to speak to an immigration attorney personally. Even the smallest factual changes can make a big difference in the outcome. That said, this is not legal advice. I'm hoping this will merely help educate people as to how the immigration laws work, because I know there are a lot of anxiety exists in certain immigrant communities. Also, immigration laws and procedures will likely change quite a bit in the months to come. So what might be accurate and current at the time of this recording very well could change in the weeks to come, maybe even tomorrow. So this individual is 63 years old and has been a lawful permanent resident since 2005. He is originally from Mexico, and although he speaks and understands some English, he is worried about the naturalization process and is worried that his English skills will not be good enough for the naturalization tests. We've gone over naturalization stuff plenty of times, but one thing to consider is that if an individual is of a certain age and has had their green card for a certain amount of time, that there are certain special treatments that they can get during the naturalization process. There are three formulas to look at, okay? The first is if the person is 55 years of age or older and has had their green card for 15 years or more. Then they can do the whole test in their native language. So this individual would be able to do the naturalization interview and the tests in Spanish. Either the officer will speak Spanish with them, which I believe they're kind of phasing that out. So we would need to use an interpreter. A professional interpreter would probably be best for this. But you can do the whole interview and the tests in Spanish, so that's helpful. The same rules apply if the individual is 50 or older and has had their green card for 20 years, okay? You can do it in your native language, do the whole interview and the tests in your native language. There's another rule called the 65-20 rule, which says that if you are 65 years old and have had your green card for 20 years or more, then not only can you do the test in English, and the interview in English, but the test that they're going to give you is going to be much less questions to study, okay? So the current test is you study 128 questions, you're asked 20, and you have to get 12 right. Well, the 65-20 test is going to be you study 20 questions, and they're only going to pick your questions from those 20 questions. So think of it, you only have to study 20 flashcards rather than 128 flashcards, right? So now this individual is 63 years old, so they're not quite at 65. So they need to think, okay, do I have the capacity to learn 128 questions on civics and history and that sort of thing? If they don't feel like they do, then maybe they hold off and they wait until they're 65 and then they get that reduced test, okay? If they do feel comfortable about learning that information, or they feel like they already know that information, then maybe we just go forward with the case and we get the full normal test, but everything gets to be done in Spanish rather than in English, all right? So if you have a parent or you yourself are a little bit older, your English isn't that great, and you want to see if one of these rules applies to you and whether you should move forward with your naturalization application, feel free to reach out to us. We can sit down with you, talk about it, and figure out, what the best pathway forward is for you. Hopefully this helps better understand the naturalization rules when it comes to longtime residents and people that are of a certain age. Good luck.